Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to take a look at the champion who I just pulled a few days ago on the, I think the Vogoth guide. In the beginning of that video, I pulled Uugo. Uugo, it apparently is a female. I don't know. Let's get a quick look at Uugo here aesthetically. First of all, the avatar, really cool avatar on this champion. Aesthetically, I guess it's a female. Dude, I am getting worse and worse at identifying gender on these champions. She is in some sort of a kilt, kind of a tribal look going on. Profile view, I don't know. What do you think over there, ladies and gentlemen? You want to... Should we get a close-up going on? Okay, I guess it's a female, but really cool, kind of a shamanic type vibe to this champion. Overall, I'm a big fan. We're gonna call it a her. But I don't know, man. I guess it is, I guess it's a her. It's gotta be. I see some kind of boobage going on here. Anyway, Uugo, super good champion, guys. Can't wait to share what she can do inside, well, a variety of different areas in the game. And I noticed, I mean, there's so many things that stick out about this champion's kit. Let's just jump into it. Let's just stop the preamble here, right? Black Hand, the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns on the A1. The chance increases by 5% for each enemy alive. So already for Spider, a consistent leech there on the Spider mother, if you will, plus a sniper mastery is going to be very important for this champion, increasing not just this leech ability but other abilities too in the A2 to a 40% chance of landing on that leech. On the A2, attacks all enemies, and then has a 100% chance, when booked of course, of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Stop right there for a second. This is one of those abilities that we talk about all the time in the game as being really valuable, really unique. There's only a few champions, a few non-legendary champions in the game that have a decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Uugo is now one of them, an Ogryn tribe champion, 3-turn cooldown, but also it gets so much better. Also has a 75% chance, 80 with sniper mastery again, of placing a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. The chance of placing block buffs debuff increases by 5% for each enemy alive. So it's 80% with sniper. If there's, again, 4 enemies alive, that's 100% that you're landing block buffs as well. And she will auto into the A2, which is nice. So you're always landing decreased defense and block buffs on dungeon waves or on Doom Tower waves. Incredibly good, and it makes her kind of arena viable as well, because you get the block buffs and the decreased defense. You can use her as your arena debuffer, which is super cool, and we'll take a quick look. Base speed at 102 is fast enough to build as an arena debuffer, and also against those annoying kind of, you know, whatever defensive teams, Duchess, Siffy, whatever, you can just totally negate all the buffs they're bringing to the table while getting the decreased defense, while doing damage. Granted, the damage on this champion, I'm not going to show you a damage build on her today because I tried out damage build, not putting out a ton of damage, okay? Even the A2, it's hitting for, in this build and a non-damage build, it's only 5 to 10k damage or so. On a big damage build where I put all my best damage gear on her, we're talking about 10 to 15k damage on this AoE attack. So in my mind, it's really not worth building her with to be a damage dealer. I'd rather see her in, you know, relentless gear like we're going to spotlight in today's video. Removed on the A3, it gets better, right? On the A3, not just a debuff for this champion, not just a leech, which is a great heal on the A1, even in Clan Boss, a dependable counterattack heal on that leech. You can start transitioning your team out of your lifesteal gear with that leech on the A1. On the A3 though, Uugo's Brew removes all heal reduction debuffs from all allies, okay, and then removes 1 random debuff from all allies, and then heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. Super cool. On a 4-turn cooldown, you're getting a great heal because it's based on this champion's max HP. It's like Painkeeper's heal plus 5%, plus removing a random buff, plus removing heal reduction, plus if all allies are dead, revives them with 50% HP, then fills their turn meter by 50% instead. So kind of a revival that you're not going to get a ton of use out of because it's predicated on all them being dead. However, in an emergency situation, right, where you're going to wipe, You're building Uugo to be like an absolute beast in terms of defensive and HP especially, because the heal again is based on her HP. She's gonna be the last one alive anyway. I've only had her for a couple days, and I've only been, you know, prepping for a day or 24 hours or so to record this video, trying her out in a variety of different areas with a variety of different compositions around her. And I have to say, already I want to say, I don't want to exaggerate here, but in 2 or 3 times, it's happened where we were gonna wipe. I was using squishy team members all around her, but, you know, boom, she revives everybody with that A3. Nice to have. And then her passive is kind of a final little touch to her kit, which helps in terms of her A3. On a 5-turn cooldown, so again, kind of in line with the Uugo's Brew, right? You only really need this once, hopefully, per battle, or 0 times. Places an increased speed buff and a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever this champion's last living ally is killed. You see that natural synergy between that and her A3? It's cool, right? Because, you know, her last ally's dead, right? Let's just say the whole team wipes. One of them is going to, by nature, be the last ally. It's going to give her that full damage block for a turn. That way she has time to kind of catch up, has time to take another turn in which she can revive everybody else on the team. So let's kind of put this all together here. There's a lot of puzzle pieces here with Uugo. This is why I think she's one of the best supports, if not the best support, for epic champions inside the game. She has a leech, a dependable leech at a 40% with sniper on the A1. Increases by 5% for each enemy alive, which again, that can really increase it by 20% or even more in Spider, 25% or even more. So this bumps up from a 40 with sniper to a 60 to a 65 to, you know, even beyond that on the A1. And then again, we're getting decreased defense, 3-turn cooldown, block bust for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Master Hexer, another mastery, is going to be great. We're getting heal reduction removed, another random debuff removed, 20% heal based on her max HP, a kind of weird niche revival ability in there as well, and then kind of an extra helping hand with that passive for that revival. Now, in terms of masteries, guys, again, we went kind of a unique blend of masteries here. So offense, again, we talked about it. I don't think it's really worth it, but you guys can go ahead and experiment because I really like these tier 6 masteries here on the support tree for Uugo. However, if you don't care at all about tier 6 on support, if you don't need accuracy, if you don't want to try timely intervention or oppressor, then go ahead and you can go, I guess, with War Master on this champion as a tier 6 offensive mastery. Some people might want to try out Flawless Execution as well. I would probably go War Master, but that's just me. But I went defense only for the tier 5 mastery of Cycle of Revenge. For me, I want this champion fast. I want her going a lot, not just because she's a debuffer, but everything she brings to the table, which we already discussed. But 50% chance of increasing the turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. So solid. And then you kind of come down the support tree here, and it depends. If you need accuracy, obviously go with pinpoint accuracy and go with charge focus as well, and kind of come down with swarm smiter and to lure of steel. You definitely want to pick up Master Hexer no matter how you're building this champion, and sniper. So the chance to extend the debuff cast by this champion. She's casting leech, decreased defense, and block buffs. 3 debuffs, really, really important that you also pick up. Arcane Celerity on this champion, right? 30% chance of increasing the turn meter by 10% when a debuff cast by this champion is removed or expires. Again, she's casting quite a bit of debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. There's 2, and then on the A1 leech, so why not grab that as well? Now we come down to the end. I didn't need accuracy on this champion. It's already over 300 that I could get without having to go support tree accuracy. So instead, I went with Lay on Hands, increasing the value of the heal by 5%. Quite significant, and then the healing savior as well, because she's already dealing so much, or she's already healing for so much. The 5% actually adds up quite a bit, and then healing savior as well. So that's increased by 10% if the ally has less than 40% HP. So really good masteries on this champion. And then we actually went with oppressor, a mastery that I think is even more underused than timely intervention. But think about it here, guys. Let's take a second to compare, right? Timely intervention increases the champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally's hero's HP drops below 25%. Well, her heal is so freaking good, and the leech there too. especially if you have another healer on the team, another kind of passive healer or an active healer like an apothecary or something. It's actually not that often where your teammates, depending on where you are, of course, you could be in Doom Tower and it could be happening all the time. But for me, I'm like, dude, I think I can actually get some more value out of Oppressor here. Increase the turn meter fill rate. Increase turn meter fill rate by 2.5% for each active debuff cast by this champion. Stacks up to 10%. For me, that's an auto 10% because she's casting so many debuffs. So we're getting a 10% turn meter fill rate, which is tough to kind of put a value on, but I wanted to try it out for today's video and just see how she does. I've been trying her out with both Timely Intervention and Oppressor. Very anecdotal. I don't have any concrete database to share with you guys in terms of the comparison. However, for me, she consistently gets more heals and a little bit more damage when I'm putting her in the Oppressor tier 6 mastery. So that's why, at least, you know, in my, for what it's worth, you know, small sample size, I recommend trying out Oppressor on this champion if you guys want to, you know, try that mastery, right? So I put her in Relentless gear. One thing that I do want to advise you guys is it's kind of tempting to put a champion like this in Reflex gear because all of her abilities are so insanely good. The problem with that is, and I would advise you guys against that, is because on the A2, you don't want to screw it up, right? You need her to be a consistent decreased defense, and think about it. If she's using her, you know, if she uses her Uugo's Brew and she has her A2 just coming off cooldown and then she gets a reflex proc, you're going to miss a whole turn of block buffs and decreased defense. You're going to go back into the Uugo's Brew to heal your allies. Or if your allies really need a heal and she autos into the A2 because she has it back to back and she's prioritizing this because of her AI, again, you're missing out on a heal when you might really need it, or to remove debuffs when you might really need it in that situation. So Reflex, I believe, is not useless on her. You know, more often than not, it's going to work out just fine. Doing more of everything she does is generally good. However, I don't want to screw up any of those cooldowns at the same time, so instead I went with Relentless on this champion. Now, if you don't have Relentless, she's a perfect candidate for a shield set as well. You even add more versatility and utility to her kit overall. Highly recommend you guys, again, go Relentless or go Shield if you don't have any shield gear either. And the reason you go Shield is because shield gear artifacts are predicated on the wearer's max HP. 30% of their max HP for 3 turns on a shield set, and we're already building her out with a ton of HP because of the heal anyway. So, beautiful candidate for a shield set. Today, we just don't need that much support. I mean, she's already an OP support champion, right, on her own. So we put her in Relentless to get even more healage and just have a chance at going again and again and again, which is great with her. I think it's better to go Relentless versus Reflex in this champion. I tried Reflex just for the heck of it, but I like Relentless on this champion. So anyway, if you don't have Relentless or Shield, go with Accuracy, Speed, Perception. All of those sets are fantastic on this champion. So in terms of stat priorities here, if we look at the total stats, we have 72k HP, we have a little bit of attack, a little bit of defense, but we're really prioritizing speed and accuracy. For Doom Tower Hard, you really want over 300 accuracy. For level 20 dungeons, you want 200 plus accuracy. So we're prepping her for Doom Tower Hard usage here. And then crit rate, again, I talked about the damage. It's not that significant. Her damage is based on attack, and her attack is very, very low at 738, and her multipliers are not that great either. So, you know, a little bit of extra damage, we'll take it. But again, speed here. Base speed 102 is a little bit above average, I would say, for an epic support champion, which is nice. So let's take advantage of that and build it to over 200 if we can. So we went HP percentage on the gauntlets, HP percentage on the chest, and speed on the boots. We're looking for for speed, and for accuracy substats on the rest of the artifacts here. So accuracy, speed, and HP, perfect helmet there, and accuracy, HP, and speed as well on this shield. So some really nice artifacts on this champion. HP on the ring, HP on the amulet over crit damage, and accuracy, of course, on the banner. Let's see if we can get an HP. Do we have any? We don't have any. Okay, so we can't glyph that out for the video today. But anyway, guys, that was, I don't think we need to go back to her. Let's go ahead and try her out. I showed you pretty much, you know, she's useful. Spider, Dragon, Ice Golem, all the keeps, obviously. Clan Boss, Doom Tower. She is really, really good. I want to start out by showing you guys a Dragon's Lair. I have a community tab poll. Let me check on that right now, actually. By the way, like really simple starting characters around her, with the exception of Bellower. Someone might die on this run, and if we do, we don't have a reviver to pick them up. You know what? As a matter of fact, I don't want anybody to, the thing is Kale has the lowest HP, so he could be one shot, and then we don't have a reviver. We have, actually, you know what? I take it back. Let's purposely put no reviver on this team, and then hope that everybody dies except for her, and then she'll revive, and we get to see it. All right, so let's see what happens here. So the idea, what we kind of want to have happen here is, by the way, and you can see she prioritizes, let's just pause for a second here, go 1x speed for a second. She prioritizes the A2, which is beautiful, so she's debuffing first, obviously. If she went with the A3, you'd have another Chancellor Yasmin situation here, where we all be upset about it, right? But you can see, Apothecary, he's never going to get increased speed on all of his allies. All the buffs are going to be blocked, you know, with plenty of time for us to kill all the allies. And sure, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, whatever, dude, we're blocking buffs on Apothecary, big deal. But when you get to Doom Tower, as I'm going to show you guys next, it's a big difference, right? Because you're going to be, it's not going to be Apothecary you're worried about. It's going to be Siphies. It's going to be Valkyries. It's going to be, you know, Sir Nyx or whatever. It's going to be a lot more challenging opponents that you're going to want to make sure that you block those buffs for. So here, let's see if we can keep Kale alive. You can see he is tanking for this team. But so far, so good. I didn't see the damage that she put out there on the A2. You guys have the luxury of being able to rewind, but suffice it to say, it probably wasn't a ton. But hey, it looks like we're going to work out here. Everybody stays alive. Let's go ahead and we get an extra turn there as well. So around 10 to 12k damage, or 8 to 12k damage, I say. Not too bad, right? But again, when I built her out with a lot of damage, I put crit damage gauntlets on this champion. I put War Master Mastery on this champion as well. And I'll tell you what, guys, it was, you know, 16 to 18k. For me, it's not worth the extra healage that you can get out of this champion, but it depends on what you guys want. If you guys are already just blowing through everything that you're going to be using her for, go ahead and put crit rate or crit damage on the gauntlets, but still, even for Doom Tower, I think I would prefer just, you know, and look at those heals, 18k heals. You guys are going to be absolutely blown away with how much healing we get between the leech and between the actual heal on that A3. You guys are just going to be like, wow, at the end of this run. You know, so far so good. I mean, again, you can't really get a more simple team than this around her, right? In terms of the cast of characters here, pretty accessible, with the exception of Bellower, but still, Bellower is still a rare champion. So hopefully this is a good example of what she can do in terms of supporting a, you know, I don't want to say weaker, a solid team, but a starting, you know, mid-game, I guess, team around her, right? So again, you're seeing a lot of extra, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few extra turns here with the Relentless as well. You can see we removed a debuff there. Not as useful as, you know, a full cleanse, such as a Reliquary Tender, but still, it helps out, right? It helps mitigate damage. And overall, 500,000 in healing, compared to Apothecary at 77k, and then add the leech. You can see here 68k, 35k, 119k. We're getting extra healage that's not accounted for in that number from those leech debuffs as well. So really does a good job supporting the team. Not a lot of damage. Again, that could be bumped up to right where Apothecary is, around 427,000, 400k or so if you add all those masteries, the War Master and whatnot. So that's what you'd be looking at in terms of a comparison here. Crit damage with accuracy on an accuracy set, we will actually keep that rare artifact. Let's go ahead and move over to Doom Tower here, guys, and oh, let me check that community tab poll too. And I have my cell phone in my son's room because we're listening to some. we play Goodnight My Angel, what is it, Lullaby by Billy Joel on my cell phone. We play it every night for him to fall asleep. So my phone's in there on repeat. Anyway, it's one of those things where you press a song that means a lot to you onto your kid, and you're like, yeah, you should like it because I like it. All right, so let's go ahead, and what I want to do is there is a secret room on Doom Tower that is, what is it, only support champions or something? If I can't find it in a second, I'll just cut this out. Okay, here it is. Secret Room 6 on hard Doom Tower, you guys can see. We're going to go ahead and use him here, or her, excuse me, sorry. And we're going to see how we do, right? So on this team, we have a Reviver and Reliquary Tender. Basically, we just have a bunch of support champions, a little bit of CC and Bellower again, and then we have Seer as our nuker. Obviously, a pretty solid team. Let's see what we can do here. And again, if you're struggling, if you're using her and you're like, okay, great, I've been able to make progress. Well, let's stop right here. Let's stop right here. Check it out, guys. Whirlwind Romance blocked. Siphi, bye-bye. Look at all of these block buffs, man. 2 Siphis, a Vergamcar as well. I mean, we don't have to worry about anything. It's all blocked. And we get the decreased defense. You tell me, who's a better debuffer out there? Stagnite? Stagnite has the decreased attack. He doesn't bring anything else to the table, though. He doesn't have heals. He doesn't have block buffs. 2 insane abilities. I really think this could be the best epic support champion in the game. Really happy that Plarium added this champion to the game. Let me know what you guys think. Am I overreacting? You know, even with the leech on the A1, it provides clan boss utility that you don't get out of most debuffers, extra to the table, with the exception of Tyrell. You know, the advantage on this champion over Tyrell, obviously, is a bit less damage as well. No decreased attack. No defensive aura. So those are all the kind of the pros in Tyrell's column. But of course, we get the leech on Uugo. We also get the block buffs, which obviously is not applicable to clan boss, but everywhere else in the game is preferable. We also get the cleanse, which is nice. We also get, or the 1 debuff cleanse, great to have. We also get that heal. We also get that break in case of an emergency revival. So I think that there's so much that gets added to this kit that you can kind of put her alongside maybe a Tyrell type champion as a debuffer. And then, you know, in terms of support on Epic Champions, again, I don't think you can get much better than this champion in terms of everything that they're bringing to the table. It's almost like 2 champions in one, and I love champions like that. Look at that huge heal. I mean, we just saved Apothecary's life right there. And this is a challenging secret room. And we're doing it with, granted, a really OP Epic Nuker in Seer, but the rest of the team is incredibly accessible. And it's all thanks to Uugo, really. I mean, because again, she's doing the job of 2 champions. Debuffing, block buffs, heals, and breaking in case of emergency revival. So let's go ahead and, do I need to show you guys this whole run? I don't think so. Let's just go ahead and, oh, maybe we can show you the whole run. Let's get to the 3rd wave. Seer's like, nah, I'll speed things up a little bit here for you, Ash. No big deal. All right, so the 3rd wave is just a moment away, and, I guess we'll just do the sign off here at this point, because I don't think there's a lot. I mean, this is one of those guys that I could show you Arena, but I think that you guys, I'll just spend a minute talking about Arena. With this champion, you just want to make sure she's speed tuned properly, right? So that she's going before your nuker, after your speed booster, ideally in the arena. But again, I see that revival as almost being a sneaky good skill for the arena in battles that maybe you would have otherwise lost. You know, it's not going to be super consistent, of course, because sure, you revive with 50% turn meter, 50% HP. That doesn't mean you won't get nuked the very next turn. But at the same time, it gives you a second chance, which is really valuable. But I love the fact that the block buffs are on there too for the arena. That's a really strong opening move. I think a lot of people who pull Uugo will end up using her over Stagnite in the arena as a debuffer for that point alone, for the point that you can block buffs. And there's so many good arena buffs going on that I see this champion as just being incredibly versatile. Again, here we're seeing 376,000 in total healing, 64,000 total healing in Apothecary, guys. I hope you enjoyed this this guide to Uugo. I keep calling her Uugo. My bad on that. Uugo. Uugo, very, very good champion, guys. Invest. Congratulations if you've pulled her. If not, I hope you get her. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the content here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, take care, guys.